All right, welcome back to Redgate Farm. Right now in this transition phase, it's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of 4-hour drive down there, do a little bit of stuff, and 4-hour drive back. But we're getting things done, so it's all worth it.
I've come down to the property in southern Illinois. We were having some trouble with our trail cams that are kind of our security right now. And I volunteered to come down and fix them. Figured I could run a few errands down here. We've got a bunch of paperwork and just kind of the general moving setup that has to be done. But Sean told me that the cameras were a little high. I might need a ladder. It wasn't until I got here that I realized they're about 20 feet up a tree. So I'm out here wrestling this ladder. You know, even aluminum's pretty heavy and awkward when you're trying to get it around lumber piles and mess and brush and debris. So this will be kind of interesting today. Well, I finished checking on the cameras, and then I did a little check of the things that we've dropped off. You know, when we say we don't have a place to store it, we actually mean that. But if you remember from the first video we did showing you the property itself, we've got an old barn that is just a scrap heap. But it has one little section, had some free space. So that's literally where we're putting our things. It's things like the fence panels, and the round pen is now stacked there, and just little random odds and ends that aren't necessarily have to be totally enclosed, and that's where it sits now. Now, in other good news, this place is covered in black raspberries. Get our first taste of Redgate Farm 2. Those are not good, because ours at home are incredibly sweet and delicious, and that is insanely tart. But, you know, I can't resist, so I'll probably eat a few moods just for fun. I've got another handful there, so might as well have a snack while I'm here if I'm going to drive this far. So now I've come back out of that trail, and I'm in the largest clearing on the property. He heavily timbered this one spot as a house site several years back. But if you can see behind me about there, there's a pile of debris, and that debris is going to be one of the first piles that we have to get rid of, because that is going to be roughly the home site. You can see, because that's a south-facing slope that way, so you can see there's a lot of trees we're going to have to clear, and that cleared area is going to second probably to grow our berry patch, and then obviously that will provide the solar power that we need to run the house. Meanwhile, where I'm standing in this clearing, this is going to be the barn and the horse site, as well as the garden just slightly over here. So we're hoping to get everything really efficient, really compact, and just kind of convenient, because, you know, to have an efficient farm, you need to reduce your footsteps. And that's one of the goals for this new build. We really spend a lot of time walking on Redgate Farm 1. So for this new build, we're working really hard to consolidate and make everything more efficient so that it's within easy reach and saves trips back and forth. That adds up over a year to saving a lot of time and energy. I'm walking deeper back into the woods here, where we are planning to basically stage everything to get this show going. Behind me, if I were to keep walking straight down, there's kind of a trail that was cleared a little bit when they timbered the place a couple years ago. So I think we're going to be just parking a Connex to put all of our household goods in, and probably putting our camper here, and that way it's out of the way when construction actually starts. We don't know yet when that's going to be. Meanwhile, as I turn this way behind me, this is a south-facing slope, so we're going to take out some of these trees so that we can bring in a little bit of sunlight. And this won't be a whole lot of trees that we take out, just enough that it will power the solar panels on a cabin and on our solar generator for the RV. Then, as I turn back the other way, this behind me is where the cabin site is. It's really pretty back here. So I'm going to walk back here and kind of show you what the view is going to be like. But you got to put on your imagination cap here. So I'm going to show myself in it a little bit just for scale, but the cabin is going to go roughly where I'm standing, And if you look behind me here, this down here in the future is going to be a pond site, we think. We still have to get the final measurements and approvals from the excavator, but that is going to be the big plan. So maybe you can imagine this would be the view from the back deck of our cabin, because once we're done using it and move into our house, then we're going to be using our cabin as a guest cabin, or maybe for campers or whatever. We haven't exactly decided how we're setting up the rest of it, but the cabin, I have a feeling, is going to be used on a regular basis. Even if it's just, you know, me turning it into a she shack, I'm good with that. But yeah, I'm picturing, it's really hard to see the slope here, but it goes downhill maybe another 30 feet in front of me, and then it just kind of tapers off, and that's going to be a pretty good sized pond, possibly 2 acres or so. I'm not exactly sure yet, but this is pretty exciting. After my quick day trip down there, it was time for a longer trip. So Sean took a couple of the kids down, and they actually set up camp so that we could start really buckling down the sun angles and the way the shade and shadows worked, because it was time to nail down where the structures are going to be.
So we got a fire ring over here we brought from the property. It's in a nice clearing in the trees. There's our toilet that we brought from our campsite. So I got to put that together while Ruthie gets the fire. Nathan gets some hammocks up in the tree, and then we'll throw a tent up too. So we're just getting all situated here. This is the first official campsite here at Redgate Farm 2. So here's a barrel with all our sawdust and wood ash in it. And here's, what is this? It's Ruthie. Can you demonstrate? We've got our little ammo can there and our toilet paper, and lift up the toilet seat there. And there you go, a composting toilet out in the woods. And this is a pop-up pod from Giga Tent. A lot of hip campers use this, so it's actually a changing place if you want to change, like on the beach or something. So it's kind of nice. We'll just take that down when we leave, and bring it back whenever we come. All right, Ruth, I'll let you do your business. Sorry I interrupted. Quite a fire you got there. Looks like it's dinner time, huh? I'm setting up the tent, and the kids are preparing dinner here. So they got a raging fire going here. Pretty nice. Kids are up, we've had breakfast, and we've got the guy coming this morning to start on the driveway. Beautiful morning, about 54 degrees when I woke up. It was absolutely gorgeous. Sun's coming up there in the east. And we are looking at the sun angle this morning to try to come up with plans for the house, the barn, taking measurements. It's gonna be a busy day. We'll check in later. What are you guys doing?
We're gonna walk the trails and clear anything in the trails.
Uh-huh. These are our bushwhackers here. Got your loppers. You got little sickles?
Yep, in the back.
Yeah, he's got some sickles in his backpack. Got their supplies. They've got their bug spray, so they are on the trail. All right, make a good one for us.
Okay.
See you later. So you've seen a lot of groundbreaking probably, and the ceremonies have the $100 silver hats and the golden shovels and the tape and all the people dressed up to the nines. Well, ours wasn't quite that ornate. It was a man in a track hoe that started moving dirt. Okay, here we are at Redgate Farm 2, and we're at the main entrance. We have a county road that comes up here, and one of the issues we have is, if you can pan over there, it says dead end. And so if big trucks come down here and a school bus and the mailman, they're not going to be able to turn around easily. So what we're doing is this entrance area, we're actually making a huge turnaround area. So all those vehicles that come down here, including ones that took a wrong turn, can actually turn around without coming on our driveway and through our gate. They can do it all right out here. So let's go see what he's doing. So originally the owner just had a little table up here, and he had cleared a lot of trees because he was doing some logging work. But since they finished up the logging work, it kind of overgrew, and he left a bunch of stumps and firewood up here that this gentleman is now pushing out of the way so that we can make this large turnaround area here and then put a gate right where the truck is. Believe it or not, he only took 2 trees out, and it looks a lot more open just because he took a lot of that brush out of there. And this is going to be our turnaround.
So we have a tree over the driveway and he has to take it down.
So whenever I cut orange osage, I always cut it pole length because those are excellent, excellent rot-resistant poles for fencing and for building structures. So never waste your orange osage.
Well, we're not all work, and during this move, we want to take plenty of time just for the family. So Sean used a little special time during this camping trip to go get a hot meal outside of the campfire.
So Nathan said we have to video all the fun stuff. And apparently, Golden Corral is fun stuff. You guys having fun?
Yeah.
So you came all the way down here just so you could go to Golden Corral. I drove nearly an hour to get here. Oh well. They're worth it. Look at the smiles. That's 4th of July, huh?
Ow! Yeah.
Keep it down below your eyes. So now that we have a campsite established, we can live down there comfortably, at least comfortably by our standards.
In a tent.
But it's a nice tent. In essence, we have the driveway hopefully being completed this week. It allows us to get equipment back there a little bit further.
No more getting the trailer stuck.
In the mud, and that was a little frustrating, but we got it out. We have the solar voltaics, the photovoltaic system showing up hopefully this week. So we've got to get that tied into the camper so we have power down there. Danielle has spent a tremendous amount of time on the layout of the house, also the barn. So we've got a couple videos coming up when we start piecing together all this stuff, and that should be exciting stuff. So we've learned a lot. We'd like to pass that knowledge on to you. So stay tuned.